Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, Mike and Lauren. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Mike's faces that I've seen in the clips already have made this new season everything for me. You watching Kendra and Hank's reaction is everything. Talk to me about this new season. It looks absolutely bonkers.
It definitely is crazy, to say the least. There's a lot of big personalities, a lot of big egos going on in there, on top of the relationship issues and drama. So there's a lot going on. Even just the first episode alone is insane.
You guys have such a fascinating story. You were sweethearts before. Obviously, you went through the whole Jersey Shore thing. I was a huge fan of the show. I was just joking around with you. You're the final piece. I've never had you, but I've had the rest of the cast in here. So, Mike is the final piece of the puzzle.
Well, pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Talk to me about, in terms of reuniting and then going through this on a public stage. What was that like?
Well, we actually met almost about 10 years ago. We actually met in math class, and we went out for about 3 years, right, babe? 3 years. And then once Jersey Shore started, she really had no idea how it was going to start, nor did I. And she said to me, she's like, if you're going to go on a show like that, she's like, I cannot continue to go out with you. She's like, if you do not go on the show, she's like, she gave me like an ultimatum.
No,
she's like,
we were thinking about getting back together. We were already broken up at that point.
So pretty much, she sort of went into the work world,
Yes.
and I actually took a shot with Jersey Shore, and we sort of know how that ended up. Eventually, we reconnected years later after Jersey Shore at a kickboxing gym.
Yeah.
How random is that?
Yeah, we're both from the same area in New Jersey, so that's how we had originally met 10 years ago. And what happened was, he finished Jersey Shore season 6 and then moved back home and kind of settled down back in, his hometown, and I moved back from the city. So it was and I joined a kickboxing gym that was closest to my house. So I started to run into his family members, and then he showed up one night at the class he knew I was going to be at.
Yep.
And then it was kind of like picking up where we left off.
I sort of made it, my mission, not mission, but I made it a point to see her because I've been through so much in those number of years with Jersey Shore, and to say the least, no disrespect to my beautiful, maybe soon to be fiance possibly, but there was a lot of women, but no substance, and she was sort of my first love, and I was like, you know what, I made it my point to go bunk into her. She's still, at this kickboxing gym, and we sort of hit it off, and it was almost like no time had lapsed.
I'm always fascinated with the Jersey Shore. I'm trying to think if there ever was a phenomenon, reality TV-wise, like that. And there really wasn't. What was it like when you were in the thralls of that fame and everything that? And from your direct perspective, what was it like seeing all that happening?
Well, I know she, spoke to me before, and she said she was happy for me. But I would have to say it was like a roller coaster going, like 300 miles an hour. It was unbelievable. You got to meet everybody. You went to all the parties. The ratings were through the roof. Everybody wanted to see you. Everybody wanted to meet you. The phone was ringing off the hook. And this was for not just 1 year. This was for, multiple years. And it was an unbelievable ride. And, I really wouldn't change a thing, good or bad,
How about for you, when you're seeing all this happening and this is the guy you were in love with before that, what's going through your head?
For me, it was weird, definitely at first. And then I started to get accustomed to it. And people are like, oh, it's going to go away. It's going to go away. Yeah. And I was in a relationship already, and we had parted on good terms. And I was happy for him. And when I say I was happy for him, it was because, I took the work world type lifestyle and started working in the city and commuting. And he kind of really didn't know what he wanted to do yet, was trying to make it as a fitness model and really didn't find his way yet. So when I saw him having massive success on TV, regardless of what he was doing, I was happy that he had made it. So that's what kind of, what I meant by that. But it was definitely weird. My little sister was going to look at colleges at the time, and my parents would go and be like, Mike was on the wall. And Mike, lived in my parents' house for a couple months when he was in between moving. Yeah. So, to even my whole extended family, it's like, what? That's Mike.
I used to live in her parents' basement.
Yeah.
When I was, when I just started fitness modeling. So we have a, really deep
Yeah.
history, so to speak. And I remember being on Dancing with the Stars, and her grandmother would give her, play-by-play of,
Yeah, it's her favorite
how far I
show.
got. Yeah.
She would be like, Mike did so great today. I said, I have a different boyfriend right now, but thanks for letting me know.
Obviously, since then, you've gone through some public difficulties. Was it difficult going into this show and putting that on the air?
At the end of the day, it's something that's always going to be, looming over your head until it sort of, clears itself up, so to speak. But I've learned that you really have to concentrate on what's in front of your face. And what's in front of my face is this beautiful girl next to me and our future together and my career. So, I believe that thing that's hanging over my head is going to have a favorable outcome, and I'll be able to move on with my life with, my beautiful girlfriend.
So you guys come out of the process as a couple. What were some of the learnings that you took away?
It was more than a marriage or relationship type boot camp. I think it was really a self boot camp.
Yeah.
It really, made you dig deep into the problems that you had with yourself
Finding out who you are.
Yeah, finding out more of who you are and becoming comfortable with that, so that you didn't bring that into the relationship. Because that's where a lot of, I think, people's issues come within a relationship. If you're not right within, you're not going to be right together with somebody else. Mm-hmm. So I think we learned a lot of the tools, and just like a lot of some of our castmates have said, we still use them to this day. Like if one of us gets out of line or starts getting snippy, we'll be like, what I heard you say. And it really works though, because it'll bring more of a lightness to the conversation, and you'll be like, all right, I'll relax,
Yeah, and if an argument happens between us, we're like, hey, I'm bringing out the tools right now. remember, I'm bringing out the tools, babe. And then, and it's sort of like lightens the argument, and we kind of joke about it if there is one.
You said something to me before we got started which really rung a bell, which was having had and been on other reality show and had the experience. You said this was the most difficult experience. What did you mean by that?
Well, you know what? I go on to any show, my glass half full, and I know that no show is an easy show. Just like, I was a little naive when I went on Dancing with the Stars, how I thought that was going to be a piece of cake when it's one of the hardest shows ever. But I went into this show, and I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Plus, when you go into a show with your significant other, it's sort of magnified, because you're not only worried about yourself, but you're also worried about your partner too. So I'd have to say that the show was like maybe a month long, but it was every day was, mentally taxing, but at the same time rewarding, because we use some of the tools, I call it, to this day when we get into an argument. And like she said before with the show, it's really the core of it is, you got to love yourself in order to love another. And that's really what they, teach you pretty much.
Congrats, guys. It looks like a ton of fun.